Welcome to a lesson with Dr. Powell. Let's take a look at this matrix and find its Smith normal form. All right, so remember our tools. We have airdropping, we can rescale rows, and we can reorder things if necessary. We want to try to get ones starting in the top corner up here, top left corner, and just kind of make them go, keep them coming down here as far as we can until we can't anymore. So we do that by first getting a one in the corner and then airdropping this way and that way. Usually, the only time we need to rescale or reorder is when we want to get a one in the corner. Then after that, it's airdrops. Okay, and then after we do that right here, then we focus to get zeros. We focus in a little submatrix down here and do the same thing and repeat until we get it. Okay, so in this case, we could just divide this column by 2 or that column by 2 to make a 1 there. That would be like rescaling. But why bother? We can just reorder things to put a 1 up there. We can do this any way we want. We can just, why don't we swap the bottom one and the top one? So if we swap it, we'd have 1, 0, 1, 2, and the middle guy's still there, 1, 1, 2, 1, and then this guy comes to the bottom, 2, negative 1, 0, 1. Okay, so we have a 1. Now we can airdrop. All right, so when we airdrop, we take this row, we multiply it by something, let's say negative 1, and then land on this guy right here. Okay, that would make a 0 there if we did that. So if we lift it up in the air and we multiply it by negative 1, that's a negative 1, 0, minus 1, minus 2. And that's what we're airdropping right here. As we do so, negative 1 and 1 is just a 0. And then a 0 and a 1 is just itself. Negative 1 and 2 turns into a 1 right there. So that guy will be a 1. And then a negative 2 and a 1 would become a negative 1. Okay, so we just successfully airdropped right there. Now, let's airdrop down right here. So we pick this up and we multiply it by negative 2, 0, negative 2, negative 4, and we airdrop it right here. Notice that would make a 0 here. That was the goal. That's why we did it. So we have 0 and negative 1 stays the same. Negative 2 and 0 would be turned into a negative 2. And then we have negative 4 and 1 becomes a negative 3. All right, so since we cleared this out, we can use the idea once we have a 1 and then cleared out, we can automatically just clear out over here. Those are column operations that do that, column airdropping. So those are just zeros. Now we're left with a smaller problem right in here. We already have a 1 in position. Let's just airdrop down just by adding this guy down to this guy right here. Pick it up, multiply it by 1, just add it down. So doing so just adding these together gives us a 0 here. Adding this gives us a negative 1 right here. So 1 and negative 2 would be just a negative 1. And then negative 1 and negative 3 becomes a negative 4 down there. Okay. All right, so since we have 1 and a 0 here, we're set to go. We can clear out columns this way through airdropping. Those just become zeros. Naturally, we can just assume we can clear that out. Once we've cleared out one side, we can clear out the other. Okay, now what about this? How do we get a 1 into position here? We actually can. We can just rescale this row by multiplying by negative 1. So that become a positive 1 and a positive 4. And actually, this is pretty simple. We can airdrop this way, multiply this guy by negative 4 and airdrop over, so that's a 0. Looks like we're done here with this one. So this is the Smith normal form. Smith normal form has 1s going all the way down here, and we have that. So what is its range? Its range has dimension 3. Its domain had dimension 4. So we're in 4 space, and we squash 4 space to 3 space. That's what this does. And there's some line that goes through 4 space that squash to 0. Okay, so the dimension of the kernel is equal to 1, and the dimension of the range is equal to 3. Thanks for watching.